6 years ago, 3 North Dakotans, Russell and Dwayne Greenfield and Les Harney, built Great Bear Lodge on the Lake Sawmill Bay. They had other sporting camps, each a little further north than the last. And then they made their way to Great Bear, caught 600 pounds of lake trout that came like torpedoes from lures just under the surface, learned that the Northwest Territories was to continue its policy of excluding commercial fisheries from Great Bear, and promptly built their lodge. A pretty country in its brief summer when the firewood flames, but the explorers, trappers, and prospectors lived a tougher life than the lodge's patrons, with its wall-to-wall carpeting, central heating, and 24-hour electricity. Great Bear Lodge is an oddity. It has some reading lamps, but in its brief 9-week season, the sun shines most of the clock around. The fishing objective on this journey was to net just 3 species, the lake trout of Great Bear, the grayling from Great Bear River, and the Arctic char from any of the several rivers flowing into the Arctic Sea to the north. Our first choice was the char of Tree River. Peter Kaminga, a guide, told Baffa the caribou were scarce. Char, there are in plenty, he said. Not yet too big, only a few, 20 to 25 pounds, very temperamental. The char came. They ran from 6 to 16 pounds, crackling with the energy they brought in from the cold Arctic Sea. But meantime, where was Red Smith? He had left this fisherman at the midway point and climbed with an Eskimo guide to a higher run. He had, he said later, caught a waif on his 3rd cast, fished hard, and then, where there was a boiling run of water outside a willow brush inlet, he had cast to midstream, retrieved at fair speed, and just off the stunted willows, he got a smashing strike. Peeling offline, the fish tore down the rapids. The water was too deep for Red to wade, and the brush on the bank too thick for him to follow the beast down the stream. 3 times he was brought up past the island of willows, leaping and threshing. And indeed, Red swore later, cursing loudly, 3 times the line had snarled in the willows and was worked free. The Arctic char are not quite a brook trout, not quite a salmon, a sort of in-between, and they are considered the gourmet delicacy of the Arctic. From all reports, we are looking forward to a new taste discovery when we arrive back at Great Bear. The younger grayling are uncritical. They take any tuft of hair cooperatively, fight as hard and long as they can, and once released, sprint back to get in the game again. Red was fishing 45 feet of line, alternating a black gnat, a gray wolf, and a dark Montreal, because all are effective, and this reverses the usual reason for switching flies. Moreover, he was fishing with magnificent aplomb and had chosen to take his stance just 40 feet in front of a clump of dwarf spruce. It was a hallowed day. Not once did he get hung up in the shrubbery. So much for char and the grayling. Now for the lake trout and into Great Bear Lake itself.
Our partner Les Harney in the other boat was on a fish that turned out to be the prize of the day. You just can't move them with pressure. This one had sounded, and the rod tip plus the reel drag would be the deciding factors in this all-out skirmish. Looking back on our day so far, we estimated the release of about 800 pounds of trout with 2 boats and 3 rods fishing. With the control observed at Great Bear, this condition should continue for many years. To begin with, it's a long trip up here, 1,000 miles due north of Edmonton. The Arctic Circle splits the lake in the center. You also have a very limited season and no commercial fishing. The number of pounds you can bring out is regulated. This match turned out to be a decision in favor of the angler. 35 pounds of fighting trout was a good fish, but a mere stripling beside some of the 50 and 60 pounders already on ice back at the lodge. Dockside once again, our chills and misery disappeared at the sight of our catch being displayed. Fish to the right and fish to the left, all sizes and shapes. We were surrounded. What angler doesn't have a pipe dream like this? Well, this was no dream. It was a reality. Our takeoff was much smoother than our boat trip had been, and we settled back to reminisce and enjoy the warm comfort of the plane. We relived each day's fishing all over again in the few hours flight time back home. The stories would be told and retold many times. A good angler is usually considered to be a good liar as well, with the amount of fish getting greater and the size larger. This trip proved the exception. No lying required.